Where were you when you first heard of an attack on the World Trade Center?
I was sitting in my 10th grade geometry class with Mrs. Bergman. We were sitting there as a normal day. What I was thinking probably isn't appropriate for a school project, but basically, holy cow, what is happening? At first, I thought, how could someone be so dumb to fly a plane and hit a building? The nation's really been affected. I mean, we were calling French fries freedom fries for 3 months. It's really kind of crazy.
Do you believe there are any lessons to be learned from this? From our perspective?
Yeah, one, that we are not the impenetrable nation that we thought, that at least at that time in 2001, I thought we were. I didn't think that. As far as being a teacher, from that moment on, it was a piece of history. I will someday teach chapters. You guys take a course on 9/11 that had this event not taken place would not even be an elective. This interview would have never taken place. The number of my friends who thought they were going into the military for a cheap education found out that they were going to fight wars, and that was pretty impressive, pretty scary for them and myself.
Where were you when you first heard of an attack on the World Trade Center?
I was in my second year of college at the University of Binghamton, and I was in Spanish class.
How did you react to the news?
My immediate reaction was I was nervous because all my friends in college were from New York City, so I know a lot of them had family who worked in Manhattan. So immediately we all were in the hallway talking to each other and trying to connect with their parents and making sure everyone was okay back home. I think as secure as we can try to be, we can have everybody take off their shoes, we can blow air in their face at the airport. There's still going to be people who can figure out how to get around those things.
Did you carry on with your everyday life as soon as, the day after 9/11? Did you just, keep going on?
No, absolutely not. Because of my location, because I was at school with a lot of people who were from New York City, classes were canceled the next day, and everyone was in total shock. People were still trying to connect home to parents. When 9/11 happened, a lot of the phone lines were down. You have to remember we didn't have cell phones, so a lot of the phone lines were down and they couldn't connect, and it was really scary. So a lot of people were trying to figure out how to connect with people, and I know in one of my classes her father actually was killed in the Trade Center. So no, things did not go back to normal for a while.
Where were you when you first heard of the attacks on the World Trade Center?
Okay. I was in study hall, 10th grade, with my friends, and the teacher received a handwritten note from another teacher. She walked in and handed it to our teacher, because this was before people really used emails or anything. And the teacher started crying, and we were all wondering what was going on, and she says, well, this letter says I'm not supposed to tell you guys what happened, but I think that's ridiculous, so I'm going to tell you. So she told us that this is only at the point the one tower had been crashed into.
What were you doing?
I can clearly remember sitting, in this classroom, I was sitting in the third or fourth row back, and the windows were on my left, and my friend Zach was in front of me, my friend Kim was to the right of me. So I can really physically remember the room, and the teacher was up front like I am, and I remember the teacher walking in and out. So
do you remember what you were thinking when it got hit?
When she read the letter, I guess this makes me sound a little naive, but I didn't really know, like I knew what the World Trade Center was, but I didn't understand the seriousness, I guess, of, not seriousness, but I didn't understand how many people were in that building and what it actually meant, so.
So, do you believe that there are any lessons to be learned, kind of, like, I don't know.
I'm sure there are historical and political lessons, but I'm pretty bad at that. So, I mean, I don't know what you can learn. People got on a plane assuming that everything would be safe,
Yeah.
you know, and they've put a lot of safeguards and stuff in place. You never know.
So, did you carry on with your everyday normal life after, like, that day? Or...
Yeah, I would say so. Probably told people I loved them a lot more, and still do, and relaxed a little bit with my students. Realized they were still kids, or just kids. But I guess just to treat each day like it could be your last, because you never know.
Present this proclamation, and I